From Studio A in the much ballyhooed Texas Sugar Shack.
Yep.
This is the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Courtney Enders, now officially part of NHRA TV. We'll also give you my thoughts on driving the 2025 Chevy Silverado EV. And Jeff has the Motor Minute coming up on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this rainy Saturday here in Texas.
It is.
Temperature's about to hit 70 degrees, and then later this week it's supposed to go down back into the 20s again. Oh, my God. It's kind of like being in Canada.
Oh, really?
Courtney Enders joins us from Canada. Where exactly? Where are you from, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't started talking like that yet, y'all. I'm in a small town called Stratford in Ontario, just about an hour away from Toronto.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, I hope that you're having a good time up there. I understand it's a weekend off for you, and that's a rare thing.
It is, and it's a snow day, which is also a rare thing. I went like 14 years of my life without seeing snow, and now there's probably 2 feet outside. So,
there you go.
Indoor cat.
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, I'm glad that you're indoors. I lived with that for the first 11 years of my life in Wisconsin, and I'll tell you what. And Jeff is from Detroit, so we know all about the snow thing. We're glad that we're 70 degrees and raining in Houston, Texas today. Anyway,
I miss it.
Well, so hey, congratulations on your new appointment at NHRA TV.
Yeah, thanks. It's still very weird. It's been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks here, really a couple of months with the Pro Superstar Shootout, and then it almost just doesn't feel quite real yet. I saw my name on the poster they posted the other day, and I said, well, by God, they went through with it.
Yes, apparently they did, because I got the press release right here in my hand, and I thought, wait, there's Courtney down there. Enders will be contributing to live in both the Mission Foods and Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series during the upcoming season. I go, I know her, yay! And the other thing that really kind of excites me, Dave Freiberger is going to be on there with you, along with Jordan Vandergriff, others, and I guess that you'll be doing some interviews with your sister. That'll be kind of weird.
Yeah, I've gotten used to that. I know we're going to talk about Flo here in a minute, but I used to be so nervous to interview her. I could interview Greg Anderson. I could interview John Force. Like, everything was normal. But when Erica got in front of me, I just thought we were going to turn into 10-year-olds, and she was going to take the microphone and be like, you don't know what you're doing. She didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm so excited. It's kind of like a brand new job for me, too, because I get to keep track of you. And since you're the only one that I can call on the telephone and, or Mike Mars and get you lined up to talk to us, we think that's wonderful.
Well, now we've got another Enders to follow.
Yes, we do.
We follow Erica all the time.
Yeah.
Now we've got Courtney.
I used to follow Greg Enders, but, he's too hard to keep up with, as you well know, since that's Dad.
And then there was that stalking incident.
there was that. All right, so congratulations on that, and I assume that you're going to be. Where are you going to go to Florida?
So I am. Next couple weeks is crazy. I've got this weekend off, and then I head Thursday to Gainesville. We're going to go test. My boyfriend Spencer Hyde just got a ride with Jim Head Racing, so he will be taking over the funny car duties there. So we go license there. I'm just going for fun, moral support, all the things. Come back home for a couple of days, get my mom set up here to watch my dog, and then I head to the World Series of Pro Mod in Bradenton and head right over to Gainesville from there. So the last 2.5 months, I basically lived in Bradenton and Gainesville, Florida. But about Wednesday, it's go time.
I'm so excited. And I know you are too, even though that you've been doing the drag racing thing pretty much all of your life, because I know that you started off under your dad's tutelage with Junior Dragsters along with your sister. And there's a movie about both the sisters called, fill in the blank.
Right on Track.
Right on Track, the Disney movie, the very successful Disney movie, seen by millions and millions, especially girls. And that was that 90s? That was the 90s, wasn't it?
I just said off air I was catching you. You're making me catch you faster. It was early 2000s, but close. No, it came out in 2003. We filmed it in 01.
Yeah.
Came out in 03, and then last summer, Flow Racing released a 20 years later documentary called Speed Queens, and you can actually see that on Flow Racing, which it's in front of the paywall as well, so don't have to have a membership, and it is very different than Disney. Here's Disney, here's Speed Queens. They use the bleeper button a little bit.
Okay. Well,
It's a grown-up version.
how come I didn't know about that?
I don't know, Ray Ray. I don't know.
So,
Boy, how did
a lot of people, a lot of people don't know about Ray Ray. It's my,
Alter ego.
alter ego.
yeah, and more. Matter of fact, I reminded my good friend where that all came from, Steve Parrott with Nissan. I saw him at the Houston Auto Show, a preview that we had a couple of weeks ago. And I said, hey, how's it going? He said, fine, Ray Ray. How are you? Because it was him that I dogged on a phone call to get some information about a Nissan product. And he'd never answered the phone. So I just went into my Ray Ray,
Full Ray Ray.
the old Ray Ray thing, and really took him into another world that he didn't know what to do
Yeah.
with. And so
He's still getting treatment for that.
he is. Yes, he is. But anyway,
yeah.
great guy, but it started off a whole different world. At my funeral, I'll be Ray Ray Armstrong. Anyway, so let's talk about Flow Racing. And I've seen you doing bits and pieces that were posted on Facebook and other sources of website stuff. What is Flow Racing?
So Flow Racing is a live streaming company. It's actually Flow Sports. They do everything from actually was watching my buddy was at a baseball game in Dallas last night, and it was a collegiate game streamed on Flow. So they do wrestling, they do cheerleading, which is varsity TV, huge. They do marching band competitions, jiu-jitsu, like I said, hoops, baseball. Racing is a huge part of it. Racing and wrestling and cheerleading are probably the biggest parts, but Flow Sports has about 500 employees, and then you get down to Flow Racing, big in late model, big in dirt. They do some NASCAR off TV stuff, just kind of like NHRA TV style. And then about 5 years ago, they bought Speed Video, which was the live streaming company for drag racing. They were doing a lot of that, and we acquired the PDRA, the NMCA, some TX2K stuff, and kind of morphed it over into the way that Flow Racing usually does stuff. If you're a big dirt guy, you've heard of it. But now, over the past few years, we've been concentrating a lot on the content side as well. So we live stream drag races, but also when they hired me full-time 3 years ago, we created the content department. So I handle everything that goes on the website that has to do with Flow Drag Racing. We've got our own Flow Drag Racing social handles now. We don't have to hide under the big boys because there's thousands of late model and dirt races on Flow, and there's maybe 30 to 40 drag races. So they gave us our own little subsidiary, and we're just kind of rolling. And now we've got the Pro Race, we've got PDRA, we've got maybe trying to do some NHRA stuff here in the future, but live streaming is definitely where everything's moving to.
Are you still going to continue working for Flow and do NHRA TV?
Oh yeah. Flow is my home. Flow is made this very clear with Evan and the boys at NHRA when I aggressively called them. I've been knocking on their door for 3 or 4 years, and I don't think that they took me too seriously until we started doing the Pro Superstar Shootout a couple of years ago and putting out these content pieces, Shop Tour with John Force, Antron Brown, Ron Capps, doing some stuff with Erica, Dallas Glenn, Greg Anderson. We did a ton of content pieces, long form, that go on the stream but also on the website, and I just kept knocking. And with the unfortunate moving on of Alan Reinhart, going back to IHRA, I knew with his blessing, I knew there would be some holes there and that they were going to be rejuvenating what they're doing. And I sent a pretty bold email and got a nice phone call the next day and kind of figured it out. But yeah, Flow is my priority. I work there full time. I still work with Elite. I help with team management stuff. We've hired PR reps, content people to do what I used to do there, but still help very heavily on the sponsor and team management side. And then I'll be doing some announcing. Don't really know what all of the NHRA stuff's going to entail. We're going to see what my balance is in Gainesville, but I know it will be Pro Mod heavy. Al Tucci's going to be in the booth for Pro Mod, and I've worked with the Pro Mod series for the last 6-7 years. So I'll be up there doing that, doing some sportsman stuff, and try and get in where I fit in with the boys and girls on the starting line and top end, and if anybody knows me, I'll be knocking on everyone's door.
I love that. Yes. Well, we're your biggest fans, and we're so excited for you on this venture that you've got going. So now I want to turn our attention to a couple of things. I've heard a lot of rumblings about Freeman and the Elite Motorsports boys getting into Top Fuel. Is that true?
Well, here's the short and true version. Richard Freeman, you've met him, Don.
Yes.
Is the world's most interesting man, right? Like, you can't predict this guy from anything. So
Exactly.
we talk about things, and he's always, what's next? Let's grow, let's change. There's some things in the Top Fuel class he would like to help. Parts cost regulation, safety. He's a big part of the pro organization, and kind of had some words about maybe trying to get involved in there. He's very in touch with Tony Stewart and the Johnson's Horsepower Garage team, and Erica just kind of trying something different. Well, it was very early in conversations. Weren't sure what the Capco boys were going to do, anything like that. And on a podcast on the 4th of July, when I was supposed to be off, Richard Freeman announced that he wanted to go Top Fuel racing. Became just a storm of nonsense. I get phone calls. I have to get out of the pool. I've had a couple mimosas. I'm like, now I have to write a press release. Now I have to go to work. And the intention was to try and put something together, but we were nowhere near announcing. And that's a Richard Freeman MO. And cars are on back order like crazy. The NHRA still has a rule where you can't race 2 professional categories. So we've been doing work behind the scenes, timing, getting Erica out of the car, putting a stopwatch on me, get on a scooter, go get her, change her fire suit, bring her back. How long does that take to try and prove that with TV we could do it? Nothing's really moved yet. Cars are a year or so on order, so nothing's happening yet, but Richard Freeman has always got his hand on the go button to make a move, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not gonna hold my breath on all of that, but I thought
I will say Erica will never not race pro stock in order to do that. So as long as things are in order the way they are at the NHRA, she will not give pro stock up. That's
because they're going to have to change the rules.
They are.
Yeah, and from my experience with NHRA, that goes back a long way, I will tell you that changing the rules for something like that, it's like pulling eye teeth, as my mother used to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is, and we've gotten somewhere on it, but we'll see. And Erica's been running the same class for so long; she's won 6 championships and is by no means bored. But as you know her well. That girl needs a carrot, and
yes,
something new. She's been running the Pro Mod car in the Winter Series, and I think for now that's filled that void.
Well, and on the same subject of Erica, last season wasn't all that great for her, although she did finish in the top 10. But we're all used to her being right up there, challenging for the number 1 spot and winning 6 championships. Mm-hmm. So, what does this season look like?
Well, last season, I'll be raw and vulnerable with you guys. Mark Ingersoll, our main crew chief, we share crew chiefs at Elite Motorsports. There's 9 cars, 5 crew chiefs, and we share. Mark Ingersoll had a double lung transplant middle of the year last year. Saved his life. He's going to be okay, but he still can't travel for another year. And we would be crazy to say that losing our main chess piece didn't affect things. We were great. Chase Freeman picked up, Tim Freeman, everybody. But Mark's been a part of our program for 10 years, and he's a big personal pillar for Erica out there physically on the racetrack. And so dealing with that was a bit tough. We still had the opportunity to win the championship with Aaron, and maybe could have and should have, but didn't. It's the way it goes. But we've got some more stuff going on this year. Mark's still not out. Jake Harrison, another crew chief of ours, has got some stuff going on that he's getting treatment for. So it's going to be tough. We've had a pretty flawless storybook situation with Elite the last 10, 11 years. Yep. And we've got some uphill battles to fight this year, but the team has come together. We showed it at the pro race this past weekend that through the shifts and everything that we're still the top notch there. And so I think Erica's a lot better this year mentally. Again, she finished 4th. Nothing, I tell her all the time, you won the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty shootout championship. You finished 4th. Like, just because you only won 1 race. It's been a long time since she only won 1 race, but it was Gainesville, which we'd never won before. So that was cool. But it just says a lot about your career when you finish fourth and do so well that you're wildly disappointed. But to say that she's not pissed off and hungry is an understatement. So that's a scary Erica. And that's an Erica I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will tell you, finishing fourth out of 18 slots, that ain't bad, sister, as you know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, heck, that's pretty good. Some people don't even make it out of one season and make it to the 18th slot.
But she's finished first 6 times.
Yeah. So there's all of that.
She does them in twos. It's so weird. She always does them in twos. And I said, it's your third. It's not your time. You got to give somebody else a minute and then go back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's great to talk to you, and we sure appreciate you taking the time of your Saturday off
In Canada.
in Canada,
Yeah.
to talk to us. And don't go take up hockey sticks and pucks and get on the ice this weekend.
Wait. Snow machine racing. Snowmobile
Oh,
racing.
yeah.
You need to get into that.
No,
Y'all don't have anything to worry about with me getting involved in any winter activities.
okay, good. Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm thinking somewhere in Aruba.
Yeah,
the
the only ice is in her drinks.
Yeah.
Well, you go sand drag racing there.
There you go.
Yeah. We love you. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Be-
Thank you so much for thinking of me.
Well, always. And you take care and call us anytime. We'll have you on.
All right, y'all too. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
You
honey.
too. Bye-bye.
Erica's sister, Courtney Enders, NHRA TV now. So,
She's
yay.
moving, man. She's got a presence out there.
Yes, she does,
A mover and a shaker,
to say the least.
to say the least. All right, just ahead, a review of the Chevy Silverado EV and Jeff's Motor Minute after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Come along with us on the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas, April 24th through the 27th, beginning in Victoria. We have links to their info and their site on inwheeltime.com. We do have that, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last Saturday, he said he was going to, by the time Super Bowl ended, it would be on.
And it was.
InWheelTime.com and InWheelTime Facebook page, all that info and links to get to Hot Rod Tour of Texas is on there. Time now for the Motor Minute. Mr. Jeffrey has that.
Yep, here we go. Speaking of NHRA, Angel Sampei is going to a closed canopy for the NHRA top alcohol ride for 2025. She's a 3-time NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle Champion and a 47-time event winner. I did not know that. But she's going closed canopy. She's going to do that for next year and then get into the top fuel dragster position. Another thing we have for the Motor Minute are blue bonnets are coming out. So if you're going to take a blue bonnet cruise, take your significant other, go to the hill country, go to where they're blooming, and that would be a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yep.
When is that?
Well, they're starting to bloom now, so they're going to get things going for
generally March, the
cruises,
end of February through
end
March.
of March, April. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's all blooming out. And I know everyone's wanting to hear this. There's 313 days until Christmas.
Yeehaw.
Oh, dear God.
Counting down.
Great. Well, that's great to know.
Buy me something nice.
Not.
It's
Grandpa,
your minute.
you got to keep up with these things.
Yep, you
That's
do.
Pawpaw.
Pawpaw, you got to keep up with these things.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. The 2025 Chevrolet Silverado EV. Final assembly location, Detroit Hamtramck Assembly, which has also been renamed Factory Zero. Did you know that?
No.
Well, now you do. Available trim levels, LT Extended Range, RST Extended Range, and RST Max Range. I don't know what the difference is between the Extended and the Max, but I had the half-ton standard pickup truck, and it was the LT Extended Range. Seats, including the driver, 5. All new in 2024. No changes really this year. Closed nose with slit lighting. It's attractive.
Yeah.
It looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. Sail panel at the cab rear reminds one and all that this must have some sort of avalanche.
Theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more so is the actual panel that goes between the cab and the trunk. And that
The rear window area.
the rear window, that whole panel back there, including the rear window, comes out.
Oh, wow.
And you can extend the bed up to 10 feet, 10 inches.
Wow.
So it's unique, and I think it's a good deal. Big, oversized, squared off wheel openings, typical of Chevy. Black plastic wheel opening trim and black bumper. Okay. What I like, the overall look is very good. Multi-tailgate and step bumper is also great. And that multifunction tailgate, it actually helps with the load, especially when you've got that mid-gate open, so you can put your, what they put in there, a Fiat when the Avalanche came out. Remember
I
that?
remember that. They put something in there.
Yeah. Anyway, inside, the interior highlights, a very layered look, instrument cluster and infotainment screens. They work together nicely, and it's a nice looking look. So in other words, the instrument cluster is in front of the infotainment screen, but they're right there together, runs across the dash. You can see it in that picture right there. Controls, easy to use with intuitive placement. Avalanche multifunction midgate extends the bed viability, usability to almost 11 feet. Quiet inside this cab. Cargo trunk room. Well, the frunk is a bonus, and I cannot remember that it's up there because I'm driving a pickup truck. Who remembers that there's a trunk up front?
Exactly.
Did you open it?
I did.
How did you close it?
I had to pull the hook down to make it come down.
Couldn't find a button any place to make it come
What
down.
is wrong with that?
If you go inside and push the button inside the cab again, it'll come down.
I know, but
It's like a tailgate
yeah,
in front.
I
yeah,
don't,
but there's no push button to bring it down.
I don't understand that, but maybe Jack Nerad knows something
He
that
probably
we
does.
He's shaking his head.
What I liked about it, the multifunction center console is outstanding, and I say multifunction because it is. It's got slides in it. The door opens up. It's got the phone charger. All the good stuff is inside there. What could use improvement? Seating is a little firm for my old body.
It's firm in the back there too.
Yeah. Drivetrain. Well, obviously it's an electric, so it's a direct drive. No transmission, 10,000 pound tow rating, haul rating 1,500 pounds. But just remember,
It's a lot of donkeys.
it's electric, and you're going to suck up all of that charge if you put like a big trailer back there and a big load of gravel in the back. It's going to use it up pretty quickly. It's advertised up to 484 miles on a single charge. That's a lot. But from my experience, you're going to have to feather the throttle at about 45 miles an hour all the way up to Dallas and back to get that 484 miles. I traveled 404.8 miles, and I got 2 miles per kilowatt hour. I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't either.
Do you know that? Do you know what that means, Mark?
There's a conversion tool that you can use?
No, I'm not going to use a conversion tool.
Okay.
You use the conversion tool.
I did.
Did you?
It did.
Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'll tell you what, my electricity bill should go up. What did you say?
Happy, happy, happy.
What I liked about it, plenty of power, and it's quiet. What could use improvement? Charging infrastructure that has nothing to do with this vehicle or any electric car other than the fact that you can't find a damn place to plug it in. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I went up there to the Whole Foods EVgo fast charging station. I'm sorry, it's out of order. It's been out of order for over a year.
It's never been in order.
Ride and handling, smooth, but it feels really heavy to drive. Base trim price, $73,100. Prices tested on this Chevy, $83,090. Base model price, $73,100. Competitors, the Ford F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T, and the GMC Sierra. And, the fancier you get, the more it's going to cost you, just like everything else.
So would Tesla be in that comparison or not? In a way,
Well,
further down the line?
That's what they say, but I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Gotcha.
And, you have to decide for yourself.
Understood.
If you want an electric truck, which I don't particularly understand the thought process behind that, other than the fact that bragging rights, hey, I got an electric truck.
Saving the planet.
Yeah. Then I don't quite understand it all, but that is what it is. That's my review of the 25 Chevy Silverado EV. I will ask you, if you're going to go out and look at trucks, look at this. It's worth a shot. It's a good-looking truck.
It's a nice truck. Yeah, it is.
Very much so. All right. If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We'll be back after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us. This is the only place to go for all things automotive, the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead to the West Coast. And Mr. Fabulous and car potentate Jack Nerad standing by. And we're going to talk about Trump's tariffs and what they mean to all of us out there trying to buy a new car. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mr. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday for our live broadcast. And if you're listening to a podcast, hey, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. So we'll start off with this story, okay? U.S. President Donald Trump said he would impose reciprocal tariffs as soon as the evening of February 12th. I don't think that's happened, on every country that charges duties on U.S. imports, in a move that ratchets up fears of a widening global trade war and threatens to accelerate U.S. inflation. He said, I may do it later on, or I may do it tomorrow morning, but we will be signing reciprocal tariffs. That's what Trump said to the reporters at the White House. Trump's latest round of market-rattling tariffs comes as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi
is due to visit the White House. The Trump administration has complained that India has high tariffs that lock out U.S. imports. The news sent industries reliant on steel and aluminum imports scrambling to offset an expected jump in costs. The EU will prioritize negotiations over retaliatory countermeasures for now in an effort to avoid a damaging trade war. So we're going to talk to Jack Nerad. He's our man about town and also the host of America on the Road. He joins us. Jack, it's always a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Such a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Thank you.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. What's the gas prices out there in California these days?
$5 a gallon.
Oh my God.
$4.99 for regular. As I drove back past the Chevron last night, coming back from the desert.
I'm not trying to make you jealous, but over by where I work, $2.39 a gallon.
Yeah. It's like we're in a different country here.
Yeah, well,
it really is.
We'll vouch for that on many levels.
It's like a different country that's going to war with the United States right now. It's
pretty much.
Very bizarre.
So I thought today that we would talk about tariffs. And
let's talk about that. A lot of people are.
Yeah. So Canada and Mexico are big actual exporters to the United States of cars that we all buy. Even American-made cars, American-designed cars, American brands have factories that turn out cars that, Chevys, you name it.
Yeah.
They build them. Yeah. And so a 25% tariff, that's an awful lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, I think it's a bargaining chip, too. I think there's a lot of this is tempest in the teapot. A lot of this is the art of the deal. I mean, there's one thing that our current president knows how to do, I think, is make business deals. And what he's seeing is that we have trade imbalances with many countries, including both Mexico and Canada. I think this is going to resolve itself in a different way than a lot of people are panicking about. But I think one of the things you do when you're negotiating any kind of business deal, like if you're buying a building or selling a building, is you start at a particular place and you end up somewhere else, right? You don't end up where you start in terms of making a deal. So I think that's largely what's happening. He also ran on creating jobs in America for American workers, and not Canadian workers, not Mexican workers. We've seen a lot of factories fly out of the United States, particularly south of the border, south of where you guys are, not too far, I guess, because of the situation that we put together. Two different deals, actually, with Mexico and Canada that basically treat those countries essentially as the United States, although their workers don't pay taxes in the United States. They're not citizens of the United States. And
are the workers in both of those countries, are they members of the United Auto Workers Union?
No.
They're not.
And it's one of the reasons that
they moved down there.
The big three have gone down to Mexico. I mean, low labor costs also. But they are not unionized in the same way that through the United Auto Workers. So that's essentially been a giant loophole where jobs have drained out of the United States and south of the border for the last probably 30 years. We've had two different deals, including a deal that Trump renegotiated essentially in his first term. And now I think that he's likely to want to negotiate that one more time to make it even more favorable to American workers and less favorable. The overall goal here is to build America's industrial base, to keep people working in manufacturing in the United States. He ran on that. It's not surprising that he will do things to put that into effect.
Well, I read a story just this past week that United Auto Workers, and I assume that it's under this new contract, are going to be getting a $10,000 bonus, at least with one manufacturer, this year. Because of the profits that I think it was General Motors is going to reap this year. And that does not bode well for me as a consumer that's going to go and buy a Chevrolet and know that here's a guy that's probably making $100 an hour screwing a car together, and he's going to get a $10,000 bonus. And here I am, don't even get a pay raise of 2% this year.
I think what bodes well for all of us as car consumers is the fact that there are 30 plus brands out there that compete tooth and nail against one another. And there's a limited number of people who can buy new vehicles that just have the income to buy new vehicles. And they have to interest those people in buying their vehicles. So I don't think we're going to see 25% price hikes and that kind of thing, even if we were to see 25% tariffs. One of the things people don't realize is the tariffs from other countries, not necessarily from Mexico and Canada, because it's a different situation. Basically, we're kind of treating one another as the same. But for the European countries, the tariffs are, I think, 3 times or 5 times what they are, 4 times maybe, what they are on our goods going there. Their goods coming here are taxed much less, which doesn't seem fair. I think what is being looked at is quote unquote reciprocal tariffs. So if our tariff on them is 2.5%, their tariff on our stuff should be 2.5%, not 10%.
Yeah, I think I saw something about where the imports, the automotive imports coming from Europe, the European brands, it's like 3 to 1 for what we export to them because of the pricing difference and the tariff they have on us. So it doesn't sell as well over there, and they have less tariffs coming in, so we buy more of them because they're cheaper.
Right. And, we've seen all these import manufacturers, BMW builds here, Mercedes-Benz builds here, Toyota builds here, Nissan builds here, Honda builds here. So I think the goal, I guess, again, is to employ Americans in manufacturing, which I think we all would agree is probably a fairly good thing.
Well, they've also stopped building EV factories for the batteries. I think that there are plenty idled plants waiting for something to go in there. This would be an opportunity to bring back some of that manufacturing from, say, Canada or Mexico to the United States, especially with the American brands. I know Belvidere up in Illinois, there's a plant right there that Stellantis has teased us with that they're going to build something there, but it's still not operational.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their own issues, of course, but
yes.
A big problem with the auto industry, and it has been a big problem for probably 30 to 50 years, is there's more production capacity than there are people to buy new cars. And as cars get more expensive, that becomes even more of a problem. So you're going to see idled factories. But at the same time, I just returned from a Hyundai event. Hyundai has built a multi-billion-dollar plant in Savannah, Georgia, that's just come online and, has the capacity to build probably something like 500,000 cars, again, in Georgia in the next few years. So we'll see what happens with that. But we've seen a lot of the import manufacturers come here to build cars, and we'll probably see more of that if there are higher tariffs on imported vehicles.
Well, let's take that to another level, and let's talk about Hyundai versus, say, Chevrolet. Are they price competitive for what you get out of their brands?
I think so. I mean, I think Hyundai is doing a remarkable job in terms of providing value. Again, I just drank the Kool-Aid a little bit, being on one of their events, so got some information from them. But they've grown something like 33% in the past 5 years in terms of volume. Their volume is up around 750,000 cars and units, cars, sport utilities, etc. in the United States. That's a heck of a lot of new vehicles being sold, and a significant portion of those are being built in North America, or being built in America, in the United States of America. So that's certainly good for workers. Those are not United Auto Workers union workers, but those are at least Americans employed in car manufacturing.
And there lies another issue unto itself, that some of these car manufacturers are going, we prefer not to have the UAW involved because they jack up the price of the car to the point where, that's one of the buying things about going, for instance, this Hyundai plant. They don't have to pay the UAW exorbitant amounts of money. Which is why we've seen plants being built in Mexico where they can avoid that, where we're seeing General Motors and Ford plants being built in Mexico.
certainly Stellantis builds vehicles in Mexico too. Volkswagen does. So we're seeing a lot of production in Mexico, again, avoiding the unions, avoiding that labor rate. You can certainly argue that it's not good for American workers, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's going to raise a red flag, I think, with UAW and going, hey, you know what? And we're going to pay our workers this much money. Congratulations that you won all of these wonderful pay raises for everybody, but it's also going to wind up killing you in the end when they start closing factories because they're not selling cars built by the UAW.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when General Motors had 50% of the market in the United States, and now they're under 20% of the market. Well under that. There's the imports have eaten the domestic manufacturers' lunch for years and years and years. And some of it with American workers. I mean, a significant portion of the vehicles that Toyota and Honda are selling, for example, are built in the United States by American workers.
Let's talk about Stellantis and kind of move the candle along here a little bit. And the fact that Stellantis, I think, is heading at least in a different direction and hopefully in the right direction, bringing back maybe some internal combustion engines and some horsepower. The stuff that I went, why are you throwing away this entire audience that you've spent decades building, talking about horsepower and all of the
It's almost a cash cow. You know you're going to sell every one of them.
And so why? Yeah.
I think being slow to go to electrics might turn out to be a great thing. I mean, a lot of people were slamming Stellantis for not having electric vehicles, not having battery electric vehicles the way General Motors did and Ford. Ford seems to have lessened their emphasis on electric vehicles too. But maybe that's a good thing. I think I've talked to you guys about the Dodge Charger Daytona that I drove late last year, which will then have internal combustion, and not the Charger Daytona itself, but that same platform is built so it can accept internal combustion engines. And we're going to see that. I mean, that's in the plan, and that seems like a really good idea based on what we're seeing going forward. I floated the idea that we've seen peak electric, at least for the time being. I think the electric market share for 2025 is liable to be no higher than it was in 2024 and might be lower. And I think if we see the $7,500 tax credit go away and we see fuel economy regulations change, that's what has driven a lot of manufacturers to build electrics, is to match those fuel economy requirements. If those are lessened, I mean, all bets are off. I think internal combustion engines could be with us for many, many years to come. And I've always thought that.
I've always thought that, the EV stuff is great for some people. It's not for everybody. And I think it's just another offering that manufacturers need to have for everybody. So, grandma and grandpa that really don't travel that much. All they do is, church and grocery store, typical stuff that we all have heard for years and years and years. The hybrid, the full electric might be perfect for somebody like that, and they should have the opportunity to do that. But for all of us to be forced to go to electric, and especially in Houston, Texas, that covers tens of thousands of square miles, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense for a lot of people. And to do away with the combustion engine doesn't make any sense. Matter of fact, and I know that you've driven some cars that are now getting 40 miles to the gallon in a hybrid, and I'm going, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these hybrids are terrific. I think just we're seeing great efficiency out of just more conventional internal combustion engines.
Exactly.
It's just, they work pretty well. I mean, we've really gotten good at that.
Yeah.
And I think those are cool things. I'm a little concerned about all these turbocharged engines that we're seeing in terms of longevity of those vehicles going forward. And we're seeing a ton of vehicles that are nothing but turbo and then hybrid and plug-in hybrid. And, as a guy who keeps his car way too long, I'm concerned about that. I keep it, and I'm a buy it and keep it for a long time kind of guy when it comes to vehicles.
Yeah,
I think that's
and not only that,
financial decision.
Yeah, and we've also seen some real problems with some of the turbocharged engines, and in particular Ford. There's been a lot of failures at Ford with their twin turbos V6s and
EcoBoost,
all that stuff.
Well, and a lot of this, the turbo. I mean, this thing's spinning at thousands of RPM. And my brother's truck, he's got a truck. He's got 180 something thousand miles on it, turbocharged V8 diesel actually, and there's something wrong with the turbocharger. The code says there's something wrong. Well, they're not sure what's wrong with it, so they're just going to want to replace it for $6,000 because they can't fix it. I mean, it's a unit, and that's a diesel. That's not even the little small motors that are working their tails off.
Jack, what's coming up on America on the Road this week?
Really good question. We test a lot of.
You're bad as us.
Can I remember that far back? Actually, I drove a Mazda 3 with a manual transmission, a 6-speed manual transmission, which I think is a terrific car. And it wasn't the turbo. Basically, almost a base car. It had kind of premium features inside, but it had the base power plant, which is 191 horsepower. And I was remarking on the show 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this would have been the sports model. This had plenty of pep. I love the Mazda 3. You guys probably do too. It handles terrifically well.
Yes.
I like hatchbacks. Because they're very versatile, and so we stuffed a lot of things in it. And my wife and I drove up to Central California, where my youngest daughter is going to school, and spent some time with her, and then drove back. So that's one of the things we talk about on the show. We talk about tariffs on the show a lot too, to tell you the truth.
No doubt, yeah. Well, Jack, it's always great to talk to you, and thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday out there on the left coast. It's great I see you've got the tan working, and it's been a little bit rainy out there, so I hope all is well for you and your family.
Yeah, I mean, we had all kinds of weather yesterday. I was on an event where it was sunny, it snowed, it rained, and so I had it all. It was crazy.
Well, you take care of yourself, and thanks again. We appreciate you, sir.
Thanks. Enjoy your weekends, guys.
Thanks, Jack.
You do the same. Jack Nerad, America on the Road. Just ahead, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and we'll also bring you some auto news headlines. The In Real Time Car Talk Show continues after this break.
Thanks.
Well, I don't know what's going on over here. I can see the picture, but I can't hear the audio, and that doesn't surprise me.
Well, there's Lupe Tortilla. There's a picture of the outdoor of the building.
Well, why don't you switch it over to us, because that's not going to cut it
Didn't
right
want to
now.
narrate it.
Huh?
Didn't want to narrate it.
No, I don't want to narrate it. I think it's a great place to eat, and I hope that everybody went over there for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
All right. So while we work on that, let's do Jeff's racing calendar,
Sure.
sponsored by Texas Muscle Car Challenge.
Thank you for that. Tomorrow, big day. Daytona 500. We're talking about Florida, of course. You had the duels last Thursday. I believe Mr.
The
Wallace.
Tex-Mex dining experience. I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
We're good. You continue on.
All right. Daytona 500 is again, like I said, tomorrow. The duels on Thursday. The truck race ran. The Craftsman truck race ran yesterday. You got Xfinity today at 4:00, and then Xfinity today is on the CW network. And then tomorrow it is on Fox, I believe, for the big event for Daytona 500. And then you got a couple other things going on. You got NHRA, of course. We just had Courtney on there, Courtney Enders on there talking about the NHRA Gator Nationals, her events, things going on with her life. And then you got some Soapbox Derby events coming up in March, and you got IMSA coming up in March. So a lot of these things are building. The pre-event stuff is happening. And then, of course, we're going to get into full-blown racing next couple of weeks.
Mr. Mars,
Yes, sir.
This Week in Auto History.
This week in auto history, we had a few things that were rather interesting that came up. In 1893, Thomas B. Jeffrey and Charles E. Duryea received.
Oh, I remember that very well.
You were there.
Yeah,
I know.
was there. Yep.
We should have
Tub
got
it
your
out.
pictures.
Tub
Yes.
it out.
They got the first U.S. patent for the first gasoline-powered automobile. It was basically a lightweight gasoline-powered engine mounted on a carriage. making the milestone in automotive history. Now, this patent laid the foundation for future automobile manufacturing, influencing people like Henry Ford to build upon this first idea. Also this week, in 1931, the first highway median was introduced out in California.
Of course.
Now, this was a
Why do
safety
they call
feature.
it a median? Median.
Well, you're median.
In the middle.
It's a mediation between lanes. This way and that way. A medial?
Did you just said that word?
I did. I just made that up. Now, it was designed to reduce head-on collisions.
There you
Now, it
go.
was installed on a stretch of U.S. Route 99 near Bakersfield. Now, it separated the opposing traffic lanes, which improves road safety. Now, in the United States, this type of road may also be called a divided highway, a boulevard, a parkway, an expressway, a freeway, or even an interstate. And it has a grassy median or a Jersey barrier separating the traffic direction.
Jersey barrier.
I have no idea what that means,
Well,
but
forget about it.
It's so
forget about it.
Jersey.
Joyzy. Also this week, the Mazda Miata MX-5 debuts. Now, this was a very important car because when it was introduced at the Chicago Auto Show, it was actually reviving the lightweight roadster concept. 1.6-liter engine, 2,500-pound vehicle with a 50-50 weight distribution, which created some seriously agile handling. And it was actually inspired by the classic British sports cars, but it also combined reliability, affordability, and just fun to drive.
All right.
Now, also this week in 1908, the New York to Paris race begins. Now, just that caught my attention. Because I went,
There's
"Oh,
Don Armstrong.
Guy's wearing his underwear out there.
it's got it on the outside.
That is an operating uniform, the surgical thing.
I don't know. Tub it
Whatever.
out. Tub it out.
Yeah. In 1908, spanning 22,000 miles and taking 169 days, it began in New York.
Sure, of course.
Now, of course, they had to go across different terrains. 6 teams from the U.S., Germany, Italy, and France competed in this test of endurance. 3 entries finished the race with the American Thomas Flyer, driven by George Schuster, winning after 169 days. Facing snow, mud, and political tensions, the
and
race...
no roads.
No roads. The race showcased the automobile's potential for global travel. On February the 12th, 2014, a massive sinkhole collapsed underneath the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, swallowing 8 rare Corvettes. Security cameras captured the shocking event during the night as the 40-foot wide, 30-foot deep hole opened up inside the Sky Dome, where they had a lot of the cars on display. Among the damaged cars was a 1962 Corvette and the 1 millionth Corvette ever made. Some of these cars have been restored. Some others still remain on display as part of the museum's exhibit, turning the disaster into an unexpected attraction for visitors. That's this week in automotive history.
Thank you. We're going to try once again to make this all work, and we'll see if this happens.
Hold your mouth right.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Hey, going to the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, whether you're going on it or not, you can join us by following the In Wheel Time team as we join over 300 other enthusiasts beginning April 24th. Get the info link at InWheelTime.com and our In Wheel Time Facebook page. Some of the headlines making stories this week. ZF Life Tech has introduced a heel airbag that is designed to reduce the risk of severe ankle and foot injuries to front seat occupants in the event of a crash. If there is a frontal collision, the airbag deploys near the passenger's and driver's feet, cushioning the impact and providing stability to reduce the risk of harm to the lower extremities, according to ZF Life Tech, which is a standalone ZF Group unit that was previously the German supplier's Passive Safety Systems division. The airbag, which the supplier says is a world's first, will be available starting in 2028. Airbag for your feet. Okay,
That's pretty cool. If you could get them on your platform shoes, that way whenever you're up there.
You would have the platform shoes,
Yeah.
and they're probably in your closet where this whole conversation needs to be and probably originated from.
They're in
glitter.
his truck.
What'd you say?
They're in his truck.
In his truck. There you go. Platform shoes. I want to see those. Bring them out.
No, you don't.
A Chinese lead-acid battery manufacturer with a North American base in Michigan is suing the U.S. government after being blacklisted over allegations of using forced labor in China.
No.
U.S. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection are among the defendants listed in a lawsuit filed last month by Camel Group in the U.S. Court of International Trade. Camel, which opened a $20 million factory in Battle Creek, Michigan, 120 miles northwest of Detroit a year and a half ago, was added in 2023 to the Forced Labor Prevention Act list, essentially a scarlet letter prohibiting the automotive supplier from doing business in the country, according to the lawsuit. We'll see what happens there.
Yep.
I'm going to kind of finish this segment out with this story.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Yep.
It's a Saturday morning. We're going to the 11 o'clock hour, so it's between breakfast and lunch. I want to preface the story with that.
So it's time to start drinking?
Stellantis officials are trying to solve the case of the Kokomo contaminator. Bathrooms at the automaker's Kokomo engine plant in central Indiana repeatedly have been smeared with fecal matter, according to a memo posted on social media. The plant makes four-cylinder engines, called the Stinkies, at the Jeep Wrangler, Compass, and Grand Cherokee assembly plant. R. Tyler Adams, the plant's well-being, health, and safety manager, said the company has directed its janitorial contractor not to clean up after such events and warned that the bathrooms found in this grotesque state would be closed. But Stellantis said it would continue to ensure that plant workers have access to clean bathrooms. And my take on that would be the porta potties outside.
Exactly.
Well, that's the true meaning of opus.
Opus?
Go on, continue.
What, you going to explain that?
No, well, it's actually nasty, but obvious.
It's a nasty story.
He said alternate methods may be used to help pinpoint the culprit, but didn't elaborate what those would be. I can only imagine. Golly, that's a story.
Yep.
Hey, Joe, I do aware. State Department's procurement forecast removed the mention of Elon Musk's Tesla in relation to a planned $400 million armored EV purchased after reports emerged about it on Wednesday. An armored Tesla budget item that would span 5 years and start in 2025. However, the document was revised to remove Tesla's name. This followed reports of the company's moniker on the procurement document from Drop Site News, whoever that is, and the New York Times. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay. An armored Tesla truck. All right. Well, why not?
I thought the Cybertruck was bulletproof. Oh, never mind. They proved that was wrong.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be redesigning that. I saw some kind of rendering on
Oh, you did?
one of the channels. Yeah, that's allegedly going to redesign it. It looks kind of different, a little bit more modern, like an American car, but
Not like a soapbox derby
no,
car.
nothing like that.
All right. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address info@inwheeltime.com. Back after this.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000 square foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us. You've got the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show coming up. Hemming Sold Car Roundup. We're going to find out what these cars are worth and what people paid for them. It's a little fun game we play. We're also going to have this week's recalls. Jeff's Car Culture and Mr. Mars reviews the 2025 GMC Sierra Denali.
EV.
Ta-da!
Okay.
It is.
All right. They also make a gas motor too.
Yep.
You're going to do the EV. I got it. He looked at me like, you made a mistake.
No, you left it off. You didn't read the whole sentence.
Well, I read the sentence here just as I wrote
Okay,
it.
you're both grounded.
Yeah.
You know, Mars was one of those guys in high school. He sometimes just wanted to reach over and slap him.
Again.
Again. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. We don't know what's going on.
We
It's
have no
Saturday,
idea.
and we're just going to do something.
Having
To do
some fun.
Gonna do something.
Well, yeah, you drove all this way just for ridicule and
For having fun.
for having fun. You want to do some? Let's do some recalls.
Yeah.
This all of these car companies must have bought these rear view cameras from the same company because there's so many of these in across all of these different brands of automobiles. Rear view camera image may not display. Ford Expedition for 2021. The rest of them are 2020 to 2022s. Ford Expedition, Ford F250, 350, 450, 550, and 600.
Wow.
Lincoln Corsair for 2020 to 2022 as well. Instrument panel display failure. Manufacturer, Ford. Bronco Sport for 25, Ford Escape for 25, and Lincoln Corsair for 25. Now here's one. This will set your house on fire. High voltage battery may catch fire.
Uh-oh.
Mercedes-Benz EQB. Do you know what that is, Morris?
EQB.
You know, we don't get many Mercedes.
No, we don't, particularly the electric ones.
Well, they're all being recalled.
Well, there's that. At least this one is high voltage battery may catch fire. Can you imagine? I got 10 of those on my lot. Pull them off there and from inside, take them outside in the
fire
back of the
blanket on,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah. Mercedes-Benz EQB 250, 300, and 350, 22 to 24 model years. And one more. Honda Pilot 2025. The third row seat belt may not function. You won't know it until it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
As you go flying through the windshield.
Yep.
Okay. We're done with that. Let me put this away.
Put it this away.
Put it this away. And now we're going to dig down into here.
Dig it.
And we're going to do this week's Hemmings.com sold cars roundup. So Hemmings has an online auction. They have them every week. And you can go on there and you can look at the cars that they have for sale, and you can see the current bid. And if you're interested in it, you can put in your bid. They have a very detailed description of the car, lots of pictures of it on there. Again, when you're buying something like this, you always want to know what you're getting into. So if you pay, say, $20,000 for a 1990s car, you may or may not be getting exactly. Now, Hemmings does a lot of background on these cars to make sure that you're not buying some rust bucket from northern Minnesota. Okay? But
There's always a little bit of room for error.
Right. And so it's a kind of a roll of the dice, but here we go. So our boys here on the dais are going to guess the price of this car. Now, this is a 1998 Pontiac Trans Am. All right? Black, chrome wheels. It looks like a stock, a really good-looking car. It's all shined up, nice wash job, all
Except
that.
for that headlight bezel that's all jacked up, but that's all right. See that right there?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Just cheating.
I am.
Okay, 1998 Pontiac Trans Am. What do you think on auction that this car sold for?
$12,000.
18. Actually, 22.
Which is your guess? 18 or 22?
22.
Okay, well, it was 18,375.
Damn it. Go.
So
It's the wheels. They threw me off.
Yeah, the back one looks kind of, anyways.
you got to stop. All right, let's move on to number 2. This is a 1997 Land Rover Defender 90. Now, I am not a Land Rover Defender or any other kind of Land Rover aficionado. I don't really know that much about these things, but this is a 97, very square. This is a high-end vehicle, not only when it was new, but even in the aftermarket, now that it's being sold, actually was sold on Hemmings.com. Looks like it's got lots of add-ons.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. Lots of lights, Nerf bars,
Skid plates.
all that.
Winch.
How much?
$65,000.
45.
You got your seat?
Yeah. It's probably 120 probably.
89,250.
For a 28-year-old?
89,250.
That's
25,
the
35,
price.
37-year-old vehicle.
No, that's the price.
I know, no, but I mean, okay, but it's a 1997
97,
model, so it's 28 years old.
Yeah. I don't know how much they're worth, but apparently
I don't know
somebody
either.
thought
Worth a lot.
89 was a good bargain on this thing.
I guess. I mean, I would think it got a lot of
Now,
off-road
here's
wear and
something
tear.
for you, Mars, over there in Neaterville.
I need it.
Well, you can make you some money on this one.
Maynard.
A
tow truck.
1930 Ford Model A Wrecker. I didn't even know that they made such a thing, but clearly somebody has taken this no horsepower Model A truck, which basically, do you know the difference between that and the coupe version? There is none. The only thing is you take off the back end of the Model A and you replace it with a bed like that. That's how Henry made billions of dollars. The body is the same. It's just the back end of it. So there's a wrecker for you. And I don't know what you could tow with it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't weigh much if you tow other vehicles.
No, but it
antique
has no
vehicles.
horsepower, Mike.
Well, but they don't need much if you're not towing much. I mean, what does it weigh? 1,800 pounds?
You're towing other Model A's.
Yeah, exactly. Other
Okay.
antiques.
Yeah. Burn up the clutch every time.
Exactly.
No idea.
Has it got a
You go
clutch?
first, Mike.
I think it does have a clutch. A
Yeah,
1930 Model A. So it's got a flat 4 in it. I would assume that it's a flat 4.
I would go. It's a kind of a unique vehicle, so I would go as far as 18.
I was going to go 12.
Well, Mr. Mars, 18.9.
You're spot on today.
Because a collector that would look at that and he's got a bunch of the antiques that are original, he'd look at that and say, that would be a nice addition to my collection.
Yeah, either that or would it be fun, I think, to go to, a Model A show, right?
Right.
Early iron, and tow some wrecked Model A behind it.
Oh, yeah. A salvage piece or something, yeah.
Something fun.
Yeah.
Or
I could see that.
Or an $89,000 Defender.
Well, you couldn't tow that. Way too
too
much.
heavy.
I could see that, though.
The next vehicle is Jeff's.
Yeah, baby. Look at that.
Is that not nice looking?
That's beautiful.
Okay, this is a 1965 Plymouth Belvedere 2.
Yes, it is.
I did not know that there was a Belvedere 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's still stuck on one.
So it's a 4-door station wagon, glass all around. It's not a cargo van or anything
Mighty.
like that.
Look
But
at that.
here's the tip off to me: the hood
hood
scoop.
scoop.
Yeah.
So what do you think is under the hood?
Something
I
big.
believe it's got a V8 under there.
Yeah.
So what did they make in 1965?
Well, not necessarily what they made because those are aftermarket wheels that are on it.
Well, I know that, but I
But
mean the vehicle itself. It's a 65 Plymouth Belvedere.
318?
I think they made a 360 then as
did.
well. I don't think they were into the 383 except for the truck. They
318
made-
maybe?
This would be a great vehicle to take on the hot rod tour of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what. Well, tell us what it is, and then we'll see if you're right.
No, we're
No,
not.
no.
Not that,
So I'm going to say, again, very unique, possibly a retro mod. I would think, based on what we can see, 26.
I'll go 30.
well, both of you are very wrong. $59,430.
But we're only going to give you 30. So take it or leave it. Damn it.
Yeah, there's got to be a little more to it, like up underneath that hood.
Well, you know
maybe
what?
a 440 or
Look at the tailpipe. The tailpipe's a little longer, and I think that's what you're paying for.
The longer tailpipe.
the longer tailpipe.
Okay, now for you pick 'em up truck fans, I thought this was pretty cool. A 1983 Ford, what ultimately became the Super Duty, an
Yeah.
F-250.
That's clean looking there.
It's very clean, and if I'm not mistaken, that's a 4-wheel drive with big knobbies all around
Yep.
it. It looks like it just rolled off of out of the showroom, and they put some nice wheels and
Independent
tires on it.
suspension, 4-wheel drive.
All right. Well, it's not independent all the way around. No, well, it's got an axle. in
Oh,
the
that's
back.
an axle.
Yeah,
That's right. Gotcha.
they have weird front ends on them.
They do. 83 Ford F-250, super clean looking. How much?
16.
Mars?
12.
18,638, Jeff.
Close.
Yeah. I would consider that. I couldn't handle those big knobby tires, but
Well, that depends on how you use it, too.
this is going
Yeah.
to be another Jeff car
Oh, yeah, baby.
because why, Jeff?
Because, well, it's a big old boat.
It's a Buick.
Yeah.
It's a 1973 Buick Centurion
Man, look at that.
from outer space. It is a convertible. It's
Angelic
a 2-door, and it is big.
Yeah.
Big. It's got aftermarket wheels on it. But 73 Buick Centurion is not a collector car by any stretch of the imagination. But you know as well as I do, that thing will float down the street, friends.
And if you find the right buyer,
Yeah, well, somebody did. Somebody bought it. How much did it go for?
14.
22.
$10,500.
Yeah. Well,
See, I could almost buy that.
Almost.
Wow.
Oh, you could.
Well,
The only problem is I don't have any place to put it. It's so
And you
long
need
it won't fit my
10,500.
driveway.
Okay, well, we've got the answer in our next car.
yeah. Well, if you
There
had
you go.
10,500.
There it is right here. You ready?
Yep. Look at that, baby.
That would fit in your that would fit in your
That would
garage.
fit in my driveway. Yes.
I know that people really think that these are cute cars. I think that is one of the ugliest cars I've
Is that
ever
a
seen.
Sunbeam?
No, it's a Nash Metropolitan.
Okay.
well, it's kind of
Rub
like
it
a
out.
Sunbeam.
Yeah,
No, it's
kinda-
not. It's
Yeah.
not a Sunbeam. It is an ugly.
Kind of like it.
Kinda.
Golly, it's ugly. 60 Nash Metropolitan. Somebody's very proud of this car. I know. Thank you. I appreciate you. It takes all kinds to make the world go round, and this one is square.
6,000. A little bit more if that hood scoop worked. If that was a functional hood scoop.
Mars?
No, I'm going to go
6,000.
14.
Well, I think that Mars is going to be closer
Yeah.
on this one, $12,600.
Yeah, that's
Now, the next one is mine.
Oh, there you go.
All I can think of is ZZ Top when I
Yep.
see this one.
Eliminator.
1936 Ford Coupe, red in color, aftermarket wheels. My guess would be that it probably has some sort of hot rod motor in it,
Yeah.
based on the price that the car sold for. So there's kind of a hint for you. 36 Ford, Eliminator looking coupe. How much?
I'm gonna go 46,000. 46,000 per every year.
yeah, that's probably pretty close. So I'll go with 38.
59,850.
Ouch. So I
Somebody
didn't,
wanted it
think
bad.
that would be quite that popular of a
Yeah.
car.
Now, this would be Leslie's car coming up next. This is the movie star car.
Oh boy.
I don't know how else to put that.
Well,
It
it's
drew
a
my-
Buick, isn't it?
It's not,
Oh,
but you're close. It's a Packard,
okay.
all right?
Which was the one on Rain Man? That was a Buick on Rain Man.
Couldn't tell you. 1939 Packard 120. It's a convertible. It's got a real long hood,
Wide white.
wide whites, stock wheels. My guess is it's stock. And boy, is it beautiful. I'm not into that style, but I'll tell you what, drive that down to Galveston Island and take in a show down there at the Opera House.
Wearing your top hat. Yep.
Top hat. No, that would be no hat.
Nice fedora.
With some nice long hair on your head, and you would have some Brill cream in it.
Oh man, dippity doo.
How much would that be, right there? A 1939 Packard 120.
You go first, Michael.
So I'm thinking that's probably about a $50,000 car.
I was thinking probably 60, 62.
Good, Jeff. You win. That particular car sold for $63,072.
Hot diggity.
Does
So
a
who
fedora
won
come
this?
with it?
Mike won most of them. I think this is my only one.
Did you underbid most of them?
Me? Oh, I was overbidden.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Well, in some cases.
Well, that is this week's Hemmings.com Sold Cars Roundup for us. A collection of fine automobilia selected by Don Armstrong to talk about.
And his automobile delia.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the chat, but it looks like Heitzman was saying like 21,000. He wasn't even close.
It's funny because some of those cars, you would think that they would go for more than they did, and others seem to be way out of line in my pocketbook. I wouldn't pay that.
Yeah,
kind of money
it's kind of like that Packard. You know, there's a group of Packard lovers, and they're going to pay top dollar for a nice car. But you know, for me, that's not it. Or the Ford. What'd you say it was a 36 Ford?
Yeah.
To me, a 32 or a 33 would be more to my liking than that 36. So, to each his own.
Yeah.
How much money you got?
Yep.
Just ahead, Mr. Mars reviews the 2025 GMC Sierra Denali EV,
Thank you.
along with Jeff's car culture. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is back in just a couple of minutes.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
In Wheel Time hits the road literally when we join the Hot Rod Tour of Texas on April 26th. Watch and listen for more info in the coming weeks right here on In Wheel Time. Thanks for being with us today. Time now for Jeff's Car Culture, and it is going to be 1960s land yachts.
Yeah, the top 5 biggest American cars from the 60s, and here we go. The streets of America needed something new in the 1960s. As cities grew and highways stretched across the nation, drivers wanted more than basic transportation. Detroit answered with big, bold designs like Pontiac's Wide Track, the Galaxy's wraparound windshield. These designs reflected a national growing optimism in America. So here we go. The first one is a 1965 Oldsmobile 98. In the hierarchy of General Motors' prestige divisions, the 98 represented Oldsmobile's finest engineering achievements. The distinctive split grille design, paired with quad headlamps set in chrome bezels, established a premium presence. A total length, Don, of 222 inches created commanding proportions.
Yeah.
While restrained use of bright work reflected the division's engineering focus on reputation. The next one we have is a 1964 Buick Electra 225, deuce and a quarter, call it what you will, it's awesome. Named for its impressive length, the deuce and a quarter represented Buick's interpretation of premium motoring. Venti ports along the front fenders continued a Buick tradition dated from 1949. Check this out. The signature Dollar Grin grille featured 225 individual squares, demonstrated the division's attention to detail, hence that's where you get the 225. The Delta Wing tail lamps provided a distinctive nighttime signature that became instantly recognizable on American highways. Gorgeous. The next one we have is a 1966 Chrysler Imperial Crown. This is a nice vehicle. Competing directly against Cadillac, the Imperial established its own unique place in American luxury. Freestanding headlamps, a signature design element since 1961, created an instantaneously recognizable facade. The distinctive gun sight tail lamps, mounted 227 inches from the front bumper, served as a testament to the car's impressive scale. Engineering investments included torsion bar suspension, which at the time were praised for their superior handling. The number 2, here we go, Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. Cadillac's position as America's standard of luxury found its fullness expressed in the Fleetwood Brougham. The formal roofline, enhanced by a 130-inch wheelbase, that's a big one, established proper proportions for a prestigious vehicle.
I always used to call that the Broham.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Double clear coat paint finishes require extra production time, reflecting the division's emphasis on exterior quality. Minimal bright trim along the body size demonstrated a restraint in contemporary, and critics praised it. The formal C-pillar design became an industry standard for luxury car profiles. And the number 1 is a 1968 Cadillac Series 75 limousine. As a pinnacle of General Motors' passenger car lineup, the Series 75 embodied the ultimate in luxury motoring. A wheelbase of 149.8 inches provided the foundation for proper limousine proportions. Mm-hmm. The formal roof design incorporated 3.5 inches of additional headroom for rear compartment passengers, which is good. Unique rear doors, longer than the standard Cadillacs. The facade gracefully enters and exits. So there you go.
Great. Well, that's big.
That's a big one. She's a big one.
Can't really understand what we were thinking back in the day when we decided to have those humongous cars.
Well, we were building roads back then, and they wanted to fill the roads up.
Well, apparently they did that quite well.
And it was like luxury. It was styling. It was
All the things that apparently America wanted.
Right.
All right, time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has the GMC Sierra Denali EV.
Now, I was surprised to learn that this vehicle, this is the second year of this vehicle. They actually had one in 2024. So it is the 2025 GMC Sierra Denali EV, and it comes in two trim levels. You have the Denali Extended Range, or you have the Denali Max Range. We happen to be driving the Max Range. Both are four-wheel drive, short bed, four-door vehicles, the difference being in the range of the vehicles, and that's basically it. Seats 5 passengers. Up front, you're going to find the GMC badge and grille. It's got illuminated, which is kind of a nice, a little different look to it with the whole EV styling that goes into it. It's got assist steps, which are nice to have because it is rolling on some nice 24-inch aluminum wheels, so you got to step up into it. Panoramic sunroof. Had the front E-trunk with a power hood on it. And we had also the Multi-Pro midgate that Don mentioned that gets you almost 11 feet of bed length. We also had the Multi-Pro tailgate, which goes in back where the cargo, you actually put that cargo in, and we had some nice cargo lighting in there. And I did actually take that back glass out, and I took the panels out. But
Wow.
the crossbar that goes across there that looks like it's part of the structure that the pictures show comes out, didn't have enough guts to take it out because I was afraid I couldn't get it back in there after I got the glass and everything else back in it. But it was kind of interesting. It, very much Avalanche type styling, and I like it, and I think they should have called it that. Going on into the interior, we had the Denali interior, leather seating surfaces. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The second row has heated on the outboard positions, and it is fold up, and it's got storage underneath it. We had the 19.8-inch touchscreen that's there in the middle of the dash. That's where we're going to get the infotainment system, the surround view camera. All your convenience controls are all right in there. In fact, they've moved even more controls up in there instead of having buttons. That are you got to kind of look for some of it. Had the heads-up display, which worked really well. Wireless charger, USB ports, all that kind of technology is in there, including a 7-speaker Bose Premium Audio system with subwoofers on it. Worked really well whenever you cranked it up. Mm-hmm. Now, we had it's the 2-motor performance E 4-wheel drive system in it, 760 horsepower equivalent, 785 pound-feet of torque. Now, here's where you get into the difference between the two trim levels. This max range has 460-mile range. It's like a 70-mile difference is the way that the range is listed between it and the other trim level. It is a direct drive transmission. It's rated to tow 10,500 pounds with a 1350 payload. Now, its extended range was 390, and this one is 460. Now, I drove this vehicle 203.6 miles. I will tell you I was a little apprehensive about it because typically the vehicles that have 260, 280, 300-mile range, I can't get that out of it the way I drive, so I can't drive it over here to the studio because I don't have the time to sit there for 10 hours to recharge it and then get back home.
10 hours?
Well, if you plug it into 110...
You're not going to plug it into 110. You got to put that on a fast charger.
Yeah, you got to go find one. But even on a fast charger, it takes a while. It took me to go from 52% to 90 took an hour and a half on this vehicle. But again, it's a bigger battery, and it takes a lot more juice to crank it up. I will also say performance-wise, it does say it is a 4-motor performance E 4-wheel drive. It's projected to go 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
Wow.
This is an 8,600-pound vehicle. 4.5 seconds, it will, I can't argue with it. I firmly believe that it will do every bit of that. Now, as far as the ride drive goes, it has the Air Ride adaptive suspension on it. You can adjust the suspension up and down 2 inches, but it's got a surprisingly smooth ride. I think a lot of that is because of the weight. I think a lot of it's because of the 24-inch wheeled and tire combination that's on it. And it's also very quiet on the inside. Electric vehicles, you expect them to be kind of quiet, but when you're out on the highway doing highway speeds out here on Racetrack 10, you pick up a little bit of road noise, but it's easily erased with the Bose audio system. It'll take care of that nonsense. Now, the base model price on this vehicle is $91,995. I will tell you the base trim price is $98,400. Again, on 2 trims.
But how much was yours, Mike?
As tested, MSRP is $101,950. But I will tell you. Well, let me tell you this first.
Well,
the Ford Lightning F-150 starts at $62,900. The Hummer EV truck starts at $96,000. Tesla Cybertruck at $79,000, and the Rivian starts at $69,900. So there's a wide range in pricing and stuff there. But I think if all the EVs could build the capacity or build the way this one's built, to where you could literally say, I can drive 400 miles out of a 460-mile range, and drive as well as this one does, I think they would sell a lot more EVs. I like this truck, and if you're going to spend that kind of money, you better get one you like. And that's my review.
I know that it's on your buy list, isn't it?
Yeah, buy my list over here on the other
Bye-bye.
side.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
exactly. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues after this break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000 square foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
From Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Richard Buzz Smith with a pep talk on EVs. Jeff has the cruise-in and events calendars, and I'll bring you stories making automotive news headlines this week. All of that coming up. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live program. If you're listening on a podcast, we thank you for listening and choosing the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Well, look what the cat drug in.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, the Mike Love of EVs. is Richard Buzz Smith. Did I nail it?
You nailed it.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah. Did I throw you for a loop when I said Mike Love? I mean, you look.
Yeah.
There, look.
You look
I
beachy.
thought he
Yeah,
looks like
he
the
looks like a
Beach
Beach
Boys,
Boy, yeah.
Mike Love.
He does.
Yeah. So,
I'm-
obviously, you can sing and dance.
No.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it looks like you can. How have you been, my friend?
It's been challenging here lately, say since about, I don't know, January 20th.
Yeah. And why is that?
The government seems to be going anti-EV all of a sudden, so my job just got a lot harder.
I don't know as if I would say anti-EV. I think that it would be more along the lines of putting EVs on par with gasoline motors, and now you select what you want.
Well, you've always been able to select what you want. And in fact, Chevrolet, the Equinox EV and the Equinox gasoline-powered vehicles are being offered at the same price. So we're at price parity. The whole purpose of those incentives is not to make you buy an EV, but it's to help the U.S. auto industry. China is coming, and they're coming hard. And right now, even Elon Musk, Farley out of Ford, they'll all tell you our automotive industry will be crushed if we don't catch up. And so incentivizing EVs is a way to help the industry catch up because we're behind in this game. Absolutely. There's a Chinese EV from BYD that's $10,000 in China. Now, coming to the United States with a 100% tariff, it'd be a $20,000 EV. Now, think about that, though. How many $20,000 cars that are great cars can you go out and buy right now? And this is one that they're shopping for land in Mexico if they haven't already bought it. They're shopping for land in Canada. They just signed lithium mining rights in Brazil. The Chinese say, oh, we're not going for the American market. We're doing all this.
Right, yeah.
sell in Mexico and Ecuador. Yeah, give me a break. They are coming for us. And, my job now is to talk to elected officials about why we need to keep this industry strong. And here's something that seems to resonate. The atomic bomb did not win World War II. It ended it.
Right.
What won World War II was United States manufacturing power. The fact that our automotive industry can start turning out military vehicles, our civilian aircraft industry started turning out, B-29s. That's the strength of this country. And we are on the verge of handing that business over to the Chinese, who at this time is our number one trade adversary and possibly our number one adversary, period, on the planet. So we are fundamentally making a mistake when we stop installing the EV charging network that was funded by the NEVI program. When we start when we stop having the incentive for these vehicles, we are handing a national security interest over to our adversary.
I want to talk to you about the EV charging network.
Well, just before you do that, I had a question for Mike about that Denali.
Yes.
One thing you did not mention is, does that vehicle have vehicle to grid or vehicle to home capabilities? And anytime you review an EV going forward, that's something, especially in Texas, that's critical for people to know.
Well, in 4 minutes, I can't cover everything. I could turn that into a good 30-minute talk because there's a lot of stuff on that vehicle to talk about. So you're right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things on there that somebody is looking for. They need to really check into that.
But here in Texas, where we have a shaky grid that's kind of an embarrassment in front of the nation, a lot of people think that EVs are adding a strain to the grid. They're not. They're actually bringing down the price of electricity for all of us, because you pay for the infrastructure that you built to send that electricity out to the home 24 hours a day. But you get past about midnight to 6 a.m., right in that window, and people's electricity use just plummets because they're all in bed.
Right.
They're not running their oven. They're not running their, dryer. They're not doing things that are energy intensive. And so one of the reasons the electric companies really want EVs to proliferate is that they can now sell energy at night when people are at home charging, and lots of it. And so that brings down the cost of infrastructure that all of us are paying, keeps the cost of electricity a little lower. And I attended the Texas Energy Summit in the state capitol again this year. And one of the frightening things I saw is this state has to almost double our electricity generation ability within the next, I think it was 6 years. We've been building the electric grid in this state for over 100 years. In 6 years, we've got to double it as far as the energy it can generate.
Well, I don't know what to tell you on that. I will tell you that what I have seen out there when I fly overhead, that the power generating company here in town, that they are upgrading, like for instance, the coal-fired plant that's not too far from Sugar Land, Texas, that is basically now gas-fired. And not gasoline, I'm talking about natural gas. Yeah. And there's another one that's right down the street from me. We're kind of in between two, out there on South Main Street at Hiram Clark. That also is basically a brand new facility. It was at one time coal, and in the years past it was gas-fired. Well, they've replaced all those gas-fireds with new gas-fireds, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to replace all of those. At least it does with this company. And I think that as far as power generation is concerned, generation itself I don't think is too big of a problem, because there's still a large import of coal at the port of Houston. Again, I fly over that and see that every day, and they're moving coal in and out of there. I think that the biggest problem is the infrastructure part of it.
Distribution.
And as far as EVs are concerned, I obviously have been through a month of EVs. Now, what I have done is change my mind and thinking. And instead
You
of
just shocked him. He just fell off his chair.
And instead of trying to find a fast charger, I've given up on that because that is a total waste of time. I don't care what the car says. It doesn't tell me what Whole Foods fast charger EV go down the street is doing. It says there's one there. Doesn't tell me that it's working.
Yeah,
the damn thing hasn't worked in a year. I just went down there this past week to get a fast charge. Nothing. So I relegated my charging to the 110 outlet at work and the 110 outlet here at the house. And as long as I don't go and drag down all of the battery, then I can make it for the entire week. That's 60 miles a day, 30 miles there. And generally speaking, if I plug it in for 8 hours at work, I get my 30 miles back. Same thing here. Plug it in, overnight I got another 30 miles. I cannot say that with the truck. Now, the truck had a huge battery in it, and it took a lot longer to charge the truck than it did the cars that I've had.
Right.
Did you experience
Yes,
that yourself?
absolutely.
Yeah. And I tried to give the car back to the manufacturer this week, the truck. And I will tell you that this is my gripe about the EV go down here at the Whole Foods. I tried to get a fast charge, so the guy didn't have to really scramble to try to find a fast charger. And clearly he does it all the time. I don't do it all the time. And I went down there, and it's broken still. And it's got a paper handwritten sign out of order. That's never worked. In the past year and a half, it's not worked. The last time I found a fast charger, I went from Hobby Airport, where I work, over to Pasadena to get a fast charger, brand new, worked like a champ. 30 minutes later, I got 80% charge. I'm good to go. I'm a happy camper. I had to drive from Hobby Airport over to Pasadena. Took me an hour to go over there, charge it, and drive back. And I know you. I know that you're a big champion of EVs. Oh, well, I've made the trip around Texas by the chargers that are out there. Nobody does that I know except for you. If I'm going to go to Austin, I want to know where I can charge it one time along the way so I can get to Austin and not spend more time than 5 minutes, which I would at a gasoline pump, pumping gas, and be on my way.
Well, like I said, on the one I had, because of the range on it, I wasn't used to having something that actually
could make it here.
That could do what the range said, because normally if it says 260, 270 miles, I can't do the 225-mile round trip.
Right.
Because the way I drive, with the headlights on, wipers, dark, all the things that go along with it, it just uses up more of the battery power than it would typically use. I don't get to go that whole 300 miles if the range is 300 miles. It just doesn't work. So I wish I would have had enough faith in that truck to try that. But that's the problem. I don't. Normally, if I drive an EV, that 225-mile trap here, I have to stop before I get home, and I spend 45 minutes to an hour charging it.
So the rundown on the big screen in that truck gave me probably, I'm guessing, I didn't count them, at least 30 places to charge it, Buzz. And one of them, it kept coming up with the same one. And apparently Shell, somewhere around here, has a multi plug-in.
Yeah, multi-port.
And good for them, I could never find it.
Yeah.
It came up, and it said it's here. I drove around the thing. I couldn't find it. I hear where you're coming from. I know that you're an advocate of the EV thing, and I'm not trying to put you down. I'm not trying to put anybody down. Some of the EV people that I know that have EVs, they love them. It works for them. And my prophecy is going to be that, if you have a network that you can go and you get your groove on, and you know where the charging stations are, and you know where you're going, and you can do it in a quick, easy manner, all for it. But for me personally, not owning one and not having your knowledge of where the stations are and
how to find them with the computer.
Yeah, it's difficult for me. And if it's difficult for me, I'm going to think that it's difficult for the regular guy.
Well, let's help them.
Okay. Well,
That's why we're here. That's why we're talking.
Okay, you got about 5 minutes to do it.
Plugshare.com. is a great website for finding the chargers. There are reviews there to tell you if it's down all the time. It'll tell you how much you pay per kilowatt hour. So you can actually price compare before you ever leave home.
And what's it called?
Plugshare.com.
Okay.
They have an app on your phone as well. And another one that I really like for planning long distance trips is called a Better Route Planner. So do a Google on a Better Route Planner. I think it's abrp.com or something like that. But it is an excellent planning tool. I used that for that Colorado trip when we went on vacation. And it predicted when I would arrive at the charger, plus or minus 10 minutes all the way to Colorado and back. It would predict how long I would need to charge. And sometimes it was just a 10-minute charge. A Better Route Planner won't have you fill the battery up every time you stop. It knows where your next stop is too. So it'll get you to that next stop. So it's a really, really great tool for doing your driving. Another thing and I've invested in this myself. Now I have a Tesla, and so I've got an excellent charging network. But in case I get to an area where there's not a Tesla charger, I bought the CCS to Tesla adapter for my car so that I can, it's like I pull up, if there is not a Tesla and it's a CCS charger, I just slap this thing onto the charger and then plug it into my car. Works just fine. And if you guys are going to be reviewing a lot of EVs, invest in one of these the other way around, because almost all the American manufacturers have access to the Tesla network now. So what you need is a CCS or a Tesla to, or NACS is the Tesla standard, NACS to CCS adapter. And then anywhere you go, if there's a Tesla charger, you could plug in there. And I'll tell you, that charging network is excellent. And when you're heading to Austin, there's a great Buc-ee's right off of I-10 on the way to Austin that probably has 35 chargers. They're all Teslas. And if you had that adapter, it opens the world up to you. I think the biggest installation of chargers at a Buc-ee's is 53 DC fast chargers at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and the power plant is right behind it, right?
They have a nuclear reactor
on site. Yeah, because even the Buc-ee's on Interstate 10 in Baytown's got chargers.
If I'm really interested in an EV and I'm stupid like me, what would be a good source to go to and go, okay, I can put in this information, or there's information on there about my driving habits, or I can drill it down to kind of get to what my driving habits are, where church is, the grocery store, work, weekend stuff that I do, that I know where these places are, whether they're working or not. I can find out how much I should pay for an EV without going crazy as far as price is concerned. What's that website?
Those two websites and adapters are the best ones for that.
Okay.
They'll show exactly where the chargers are. Now, another thing is we've entered a whole new world. I mean, we're now where the average EV out there has at least 250 miles of range. There's a lot that are getting into 300, 350 mile range. And as Mike mentioned earlier, sometimes in the 400s. You don't really need to worry anymore. We do need to continue the NEVI program that stands for National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure. It was part of the IRA, if I remember correctly, or it might have been the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But that program needs to keep going, because right now in Texas, we are seeing brand new EV fast chargers just popping up on the interstates every 50 miles. And the great thing about the NEVI program addresses exactly what your pain is, Don. They don't get paid if they don't stay up 99% of the time. So the government doesn't give them the money in advance, hoping that they'll make good charging networks. They tell them, yeah, we'll give you this money if you meet these criteria. And a lot of it is performance and maintenance criteria. So they've got to keep the chargers up and running 99% of the time, or they don't get paid. So they're really focused on the NEVI chargers and keeping them up and running. Now, unfortunately, TxDOT had to submit a plan to the government. It was recognized as one of the best plans from any state. And so we're rolling these chargers out, and TxDOT is doing it in 5 phases. The first phase is every 50 miles along the major interstates. So that's happening right now, and a lot of the stations are already funded, even though they haven't been built yet, but they're under construction. Phases 2 through 5 are for rural areas. So every county in the state of Texas will have a bank of DC fast chargers able to service both CCS vehicles, which is everybody except the old Nissans and Mitsubishis, American cars, Tesla cars, foreign cars. So these things will have both plugs on them, and there'll be at least one bank of them in every county in Texas, usually at the county seat, because that'll be where the major highways cross in the county.
Buzz, we could talk to you for an hour, and we could take a whole show. Well, you could. You could.
Now, one thing, Tom, for your home, please put in a 240-volt outlet, like a dryer outlet, in your garage. Get you a level 2 charger. I paid $250 for mine on eBay. It was brand new. It was labeled Mercedes, but brand new, never been used. I've got 2 of them. They're portable chargers, so I can unplug them from that outlet, take them on the road with me. So if I get in an area like, let's say, Big Bend, where there aren't any chargers, all I've got to do is find an RV park or a trailer park and go in and plug into their outlet.
Perfect.
Interesting.
What's your website?
Actually, I'm going to send you to our organization's website now instead of my personal one. The Texas EV Alliance is TXEV for TexasEV.org. We're a nonprofit. If you're driving an EV today, the state government is seriously looking at increasing your registration from a $200 over what other cars pay to a $300 over what everybody else is paying. Now, we all want to pay our fair share for maintaining the roads, but that's way off kilter, and it's regardless of how many miles you drive. Well, I don't have a voice in the legislature if I don't have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 members backing me up. And there are over 300,000 EV drivers in the state of Texas right now. If you're an EV driver, please join us by going to txev.org.
Buzz, it's great to talk to you. Thank you, my friend. We'll catch you on the backside, okay?
To hear from you again soon. I love talking to you guys.
Thank you very much. You too. Coming up, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Thanks for joining us on the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Back after this.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Hey, we hope you'll join us on the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas, beginning April 24th down in Victoria. You'll get all the latest from the tour all weekend long that we are on it. Thanks for joining us today here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Right now, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars.
Here we go. This is for next Saturday, the 22nd. You got Cavalry's Car Show. The Cavalry's Car Show is set to take place on February 22nd from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 1201 Austin Street in Richmond, Texas. This event event invites car enthusiasts to admire and display incredible vehicles. Interested in participating? You can register at 8 a.m. There's a $25 fee per car, and awards will be given. Again, that's at 1201 Austin Street, Richmond, Texas, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Let the good times roll car show and fun. I like that. You like that too, Mike. Mark your calendars for Let the Good Time Rolls car
and I
show
had
and
some fun
We
last
did.
night.
We got fun last night. Set to take place in Baytown, Texas, Mike, right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
The family-friendly event will run from noon to 4, which is a little bit longer at afternoon. It's a cool event. An exciting Mardi Gras atmosphere. Attendees can enjoy a live car show, numerous vendors, barbecue plates, bounce house, which you like, face painting, Don likes that, and king cake. Who doesn't like a king
I like
cake?
the bounce house with the
Yeah.
rubber pads in it.
Live music will add to the festive mood, ensuring a delightful experience for all ages. Again, that's at 5225 Interstate 10 in Baytown, Texas. Then, for Sunday, you got the weekly car meetup in where? Willis, Texas.
What you talking about,
I'm telling
Willis?
you what, it's at the D&M True Value, 400 West Montgomery Street. It goes starts at 3 p.m., so be there. Now, the road tour that we're taking, obviously, Hot Rod Tour of Texas, we've been talking about that. I got my hotel arrangements done.
Are you going to be staying at my hotel?
I'm going to be staying at your hotel, but we're in the honeymoon suite. I requested that, so
Just you and me?
yeah, Mike volunteered. And then we got
Sick.
then we got Granbury coming up in June, but filter some things in there in between. We can't button anything down yet. Mike's got working on some
on it.
stuff. We're working on it, so there we go.
Thank you. 30-day delay on 25% U.S. tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports came as a relief to automakers and suppliers who fear that could lead to higher costs and idled factories. But the threat of tariffs still looms, and the future of North American free trade remains as murky as it has been since the passage of the North American Free Trade Agreement in 1992. As a result, automakers and suppliers are pumping the brakes on major spending decisions until they get a better sense of how the trade rules will settle out. You know that they're working on that every stinking day. And I don't know whether you saw this or not, but Chevrolet introduced its Blazer EV.R NASCAR prototype ahead of this year's running of the Daytona 500. The Blazer EV.R is an example of Chevrolet continuing to test, learn, and explore new technologies, blah, blah. The prototype delivers over 1,300 horsepower from 3 6-phase electric motors that instantly rev up to 15,000 RPM, powered by a 78 kilowatt per hour liquid-cooled battery. Built on NASCAR's next-gen chassis and suspension componentry, the Blazer EV.R puts its power to the pavement via a programmable all-wheel drive system. GM Design worked together with motorsports engineers to give the Blazer EV.R styling features inspired by the Blazer EV.SS production vehicle. Why don't we ever get that?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, it's a prototype, they said.
No, there's the Blazer SS production vehicle is what they said. Chevrolet also paced the 67th Daytona 500 Sunday, February 16th with the Blazer EV SS, a 615 horsepower vehicle that can go 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds with
I'll be the judge of
wide
that.
open watts, making it the quickest SS model Chevrolet ever produced. Wide open watts.
Wow. The
So
wow
that's
figure.
that's the wow. Wide open watts.
So
By the way, George sent a link to the Sugarland Shell charging station for you.
Yeah, that's the one I couldn't find.
Yeah.
But that's okay, George. Maybe you can come down here and find it for us.
So
Take it by the hand.
with the NASCAR, that car right there, you got the fuel guy with the canister. He dumps it.
No, there's none of that.
Okay, but is he going to run with a helmet on and plug it in?
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work.
No, they'll do a battery change or something.
So they're going to have all that Sunoco top racing fuel gas, and then they're going to have a charger there too.
I don't know how it's going to work, but I think that you're right. From what I read, it's a battery change,
I think
and it
that-
will become so fast it'll be like the tires.
Yeah, I think
drive
that's how the
over
Formula
it,
E
the
does it.
battery drops out. You roll ahead a little bit, another battery's there. Pop it in, and you're done.
Something to that effect.
That's what I
And some guy will be standing there with a 2x4 in case you get shot and knock you off.
And Rick Hendrick will buy it.
We'll be right back.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
Well, that's it for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure and check us out online at nwheeltime.com. We like to look and talk about rides, too. And we'd love to see some pics of your ride. Please include as many details as you'd like, and we'll feature it on a future show. Send it to info@inwheeltime.com. Hey, when you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the In Wheel Time app. On the road, grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider, including the new Sirius XM podcast channel, and be sure to catch us on the Odyssey Radio app. We video stream our live show every Saturday, 10 to noon, on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time video technical director is We Always Need More Jeff Zekin. The booking agent, video editor, and people finder, Mike Out of This World Mars, and chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Hot Rod Tour of Texas rolls out of Victoria Friday, April 24th, and we hope you'll join us, or at least tune in. Details and links at InWheelTime.com. Be safe out there and have a great week, and thanks again for tuning in to In Wheel Time.